Good afternoon, FlossTube. My name is Becky, and I am coming to you from East Texas today. Welcome, newcomers, if you are here for the first time, and welcome back to those of you who have been watching me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you find something here today that is interesting to you or something that inspires you. I just love the FlossTube community, and I have a lot of things to say about that today. It's been a whole month. Where has August gone to? My goodness, it went by fast. I did get some stitching done. I have some stitchy happy mail that has come in. I've started something new, and I will tell you all about that. So let's get going. I have knitting today, and I have stitching today. So, where do I start? I'm going to start with something that is fully finished. I stitched this Lizzie Kate Simple Things, and I usually don't stitch whimsical little things like this, but this means a lot to me. The saying is, today choose joy, keep it simple. And this is Lizzie Kate's 3 little words. And since 2012, when Ann Voskamp came out with her book, 1000 Gifts, I have been looking for 3 things a day to be grateful for, and I record them in my journal. So this is real special to me. I will probably put it on my desk. Today, choose joy, keep it simple. And let's see, what was it this morning that I was looking for? 3 gifts, I believe. And the whole premise is that you look for 3 things, not that are good things, but things that are gifts that produce joy in your life when you start to count them. So today I counted my happy mail. I was thankful for that. I was thankful for FlossTube. I was thankful for my 3 new friends from the round robin that Country Stitchers is doing. And I was thankful when I was walking down to the mail that I saw a turtle in the pond. They always get afraid, and he went just straight down. He just went phoom, like that. And it made me start to think, how do they do that? I mean, they've got this big shell on them, and it didn't look like he dived head down and everything followed him. Oh, there's butterflies everywhere outside. He just went straight down, and I don't know how they do that, but it just made me think about that, and I was just thankful for that. And I think in counting these things, it does produce joy in you. So today I would like to give this little Lizzie Kate pattern away. I want to pass it on to someone. And what I would like you to do is list 3 things today in the comments that you are grateful for today. 3 things. And then say, I would like to stitch joy. And I will do a random drawing, and I will send this your way. And all the rules apply. Please be over 18. Please do not say giveaway. I don't know. You guys probably all know the rules. So that is my first FFO. And I framed it myself using sticky board. And I ordered this frame online. The next thing that is fully finished is some knitting, and these are my Grinch socks. They are called Grinch socks. The colorway is called Grinch, and the dyer, which I didn't bring that up with me, can't remember the dyer's name, but she was dyeing Christmas yarn, and she wanted to dye one for the Grinch, and the Grinch is one of my favorite holidays. I mean, movies. It's kind of weird to be showing wool right now when I'm sweating and it's very hot right now and humid, but I do have these ready to go for Christmas. So those are the two fully finished things that I have. Now, let's see. Let me talk about some things that I am working on. Oh, I do have, the next thing I'm going to show you is I have finished stitching Plum Street Samplers Red Cottage. And it's just so pretty. A little bitty house right there is stitched 1 over 1. And it will go upstairs in my red room. I'm on the hunt for samplers that have red in them. And I'd like to do that in that room upstairs. I love those crazy flowers. Anyways, when I finish this, I will be passing or sharing that pattern, passing it along. I forgot what everybody calls it. But this is stitched on, I think the color is 36 count, and I think the color is Old Town. And I can't remember who that is. I don't know if it's Lakeside or who does Old Town. That's really pretty. I want to find a square frame that's preferably black, a little ornate maybe, and I'm going to try to frame this myself. I don't know if I'll go to a local framer and have them build a frame, or if I'll go to Hobby Lobby and see if I can find one. But if you know an online source, please leave me a comment and let me know that. All right, next, I feel so out of practice here, and it didn't help that my husband surprised me and said it's going to rain this afternoon when you were going to record, so I'm going to go out and mow, and you need to do this right now if you're going to do this. So I threw everything together. I have no notes and I'm just winging it. Ugh. Okay, let's talk about some things that I've been working on. With knitting, I'm working on this shrug here. It's called the Iris Shrug. I'm not going to do my typical inserting photos today. I'm going to try to make this a little easier on myself. And I have finished the back of it. It's blocked, and if you remember on my last video, I said that I would soak it for 30 minutes in some eucalyptus, wash for wool, and then I would stretch it out on blocker boards, and that's what I did. It's very big. The next step is to fold this and sew it a little bit to make the armholes, I believe. Not quite sure. I haven't really read through the directions. I'm going to kind of guess from my glimpse. I think you sew it and make the armhole somehow. And then I'm going to come along all the edges and pick up stitches and put a ribbing like all around. So I haven't done that. It's been done for a month and I've been waiting to record so I can get that done. But that will be really pretty. That will be nice for the fall if we're going into air conditioning. Okay, and speaking of knitting, I forgot also to show you the wool when I went to Denver last month. While my daughter went to Iceland, I asked her to bring me back some Letlopi wool, which is in colors she thought I'd like, and she nailed it. It's so pretty. It is Icelandic wool, and it's a worsted weight. And this is enough to do a yoke in a sweater or possibly a hat. And once again, I'm not touching this for a little bit because it's wool, and it's Icelandic wool, and it's cold in Iceland. But isn't that pretty? So this is it. We can get this in the US, but this is kind of their hard-working yarn that they use over there. All right, the other thing that I've been working on knitting-wise, and then we'll have the knitting out of the way, is I've been working on Helen Stewart's. Oh, I am gradually adding in. Here comes my husband. I guess he's done. That was fast. I'm gradually adding in a little bit of knitting every day. I still can't do very much. Get that focused. This is Helen Stewart's Impressionist shawl, and I have picked an Impressionist painting, which I will show when I finish this. I picked colors that were in that painting, and here is mine. It's not going to be very easy to show, but let's see. I'm about 60% done, I think. And I've worked some lace. I'm just really, all I'm going to be able to really show you are just colors and how they're blending together. They look a lot like that painting by Monet that I picked. So there's a lace portion. And I believe I'm on the last blending section. And then the whole bottom will be the last color, which is the blue. I'm assuming that because I have a lot of blue left. So it will end up with this. And I am using Chalgu needles, which are my favorite for lace. They're very sharp. I love them. They're interchangeable needles, and this is my little gadget I have for knitting that I love. I have several of these little tubes that you put your needles in, like this. And then you don't lose your needles in your bag and pull your whole shawl off. So that's my Impressionist shawl that I'm working on. Trying to move through this kind of quick to keep my videos a little bit shorter. Now, are you ready for some stitching? Or shall we take a break and let me show you a little bit of Happy Mail? The first Happy Mail I forgot to show you is a kind of gadget. And one of my Round Robin ladies sent this to me right off. It's a flower frog that she found in an antique shop. And you basically just put your scissors in it and you sit it on your wherever you're stitching, and you have all your scissors in one place. My scissors get all over the house, and at the end of the day I kind of gather them up and put them all back here for the next day when they go all over the place. So that was a little bit of Happy Mail. Now let's get into some stitching. Let's see. I have been using the app that everyone was using in August, that you enter in all your projects. It's like a little roulette wheel. I'm not remembering it, and I don't have my phone here with me, but I entered in all my projects, and every day I would tap the wheel and it would spin to one of my projects, and I would spend the time working on that project. But I think that thing is kind of rigged because I got stuck with some of the same projects for a full week. So I'm going to show you those 3 projects now. I have 9 works in progress. I counted them. That may seem like nothing to some of you, but to me, it's beyond my stress level. So I'm anxious to work, not anxious, but I am determined to work some of those down. I don't want to go into the new year with all of that. Stresses me out. I learned that lesson from knitting. Okay, so the first thing it had me spend several days on, or 3 actually, was my Long Dog Sampler. It's a mystery stitch along. You get a clue a month. I'm woefully behind. I started in March thinking I could get caught up, and then I started catching up, you know, doing more and more projects. So I am just about to finish clue 2. So this is all I have, I think. Is there any under here? There are 12 clues, but you know, it was kind of fun just working with one letter and one color for a while. And I probably won't finish before the first of the year, but I am going to put a huge dent in it by the first of the year. And I am keeping this in one of my first stitching project bags that I made. Has a D-ring for me to hang my stitches on. I think I have dogs walking in and out of here. You might see my husband too. And I love this, but it's a little too small. What I like about it is the zipper on the front that has a little pocket that I could put things in. So that's the sneak. Okay, the next thing it had me spending the most time on, talk about the little roulette wheel, was Turkey Bay by Plum Street Samplers. I was really inspired when Deb finished hers so quick. Mine is taking longer. She's the one that inspired me to cast it on. Start it way back months ago when she showed it. I don't know how she finishes her stuff so fast. I think a lot of my problem is that I'm doing it over 2 threads. I'm using 2 threads. And that's taking longer because I'm doing railroading. But I am about to set this aside and I'll pick it up in October, I think, and finish it up so that in November I can have a finished project. FFO. I may do it like she did it with the turkey. With the pumpkin. We'll see. Also like these container store bags. Okay, and the wheel also went to my sparrow. His eye is on the wall. His eye is on the sparrow, or how my husband calls it, that thing on the wall, because he's the one that actually picked this out at a shop in Tennessee. When I kept showing him other things, he kept pointing to this saying, no, I really like that thing on the wall. So, I've just about finished the first page of that. And here it is. There's the crazy cow, the peacock. The flower basket needs a couple flowers on either side, a couple I don't know what some of these animals are. I've got the deer almost finished, and then I need to start his eye is on, and then I'll move on to the second page. This is going to be beautiful. It will be huge. I'll show you how big my fabric is. It will be large. Maybe it will take me to our 40th wedding anniversary, and then I'll have it done. We just celebrated 35 this year. Okay. Next and last stitching I will show you, until I talk about the stitch along, is the Quaker handiwork. And what I want to talk about with this is FlossTube is so amazing. All of you out there are FlossTubers if you stitch, not just those of us who have the show, the podcast. But Michelle Bendy challenged us, if we have something on our wish list, to put a picture up of it on Instagram and tag it Stitchy wish list, I think. And I got back from Denver last month, and I was missing, well actually I think it may have happened when I got home. I was missing my second page to this. And I have searched my house, and the only thing I can think of is it's going to show up in the freezer or somewhere. And so I put that up on my Stitchy wish list, just asking if anybody could pass on their pattern when they were done with the stitch along, or because this is the Quaker handiwork stitch along. This pattern's by Brenda Gervais. And I had 3 people come to my rescue. And I'm really sorry I didn't write it down, and I should have. A very sweet young lady who is in the stitch along helped me out. And I'm still thinking the pattern will show up, but here is what I have. You know, I'm probably about 1/4 of the way done. So I would encourage you, if you have something you're looking for that may be out of print, or you just really would like it, to go ahead and put it out there, and someone may share it with you when they're done. I really like that idea. I think FlossTube is a wonderful community. I've got this in one of my bags I made. This was the first one I made with a plastic front, and this is a little too thin, so I now know to make them heavier. All right, let's talk about a little bit more of Stitchy, I'm looking around here, Stitchy happiness that came in the mail. Let's see here. The first thing when I got back from Denver last month, I had mentioned on my last podcast that I really wanted a Duchess hoop. And I had a message from Melanie of Melanie and Yarns. Not sure if that's it, but I'm going to put a link below. She has a really wonderful podcast. She's a fellow stitcher, spinner, knitter. She crochets, and she sent me, she had several Duchess hoops, and she sent me this one. And I'm going to give a little bit of the history of a Duchess hoop in a few minutes. She had it wrapped up in this beautiful roving. And for those of you who don't spin, Her daughter actually took bits of pieces of fiber, and Melanie has a drum carder, and her daughter put this whole bat on the drum, and it's beautiful. I love this color, and I will look forward to spinning that. I don't know if you can see the colors very well, but it's really pretty. So that was so sweet, Melanie, and I plan on sharing a little bit of stitchy love with you soon too. And then the next thing that came was my friend Donna in Denver sent me this very sweet card. It's a Hands Across the Sea, and this is from a Reproduction Sampler. Not sure if it's from the front. Yeah. It looks like it's the man and the woman that are on the front with another motif in between them, but isn't this pretty? She sent me that card, which I love. I love Donna. She made me some thread keeps, some really pretty thread keeps. Let's see. I'm not going to take those out of the bag. She sent me a little bit of Entrée. Let me pull this out. To go on a project. And from when my girls were little, I used to do some French hand sewing of their dresses. And this is called Entrée. I don't know if you can see it. And what you do is you hem by hand your sleeve, and you whip the stitches through these holes on the edge of the sleeve, and over here you whip stitch, you slip stitch some, whip stitch some lace, and then usually there's a little fine string in between these, and you pull it and that gathers the lace. That's called Entrée. So, but what I especially like is she sent this pillow pattern. This is another Brenda Gervais, and I'm really excited to make this. I even, when I was in Walmart, they had some Waverly fabric on clearance that is ticking. And it's going to be a lot nicer than regular old ticking because it's Waverly. And I'll probably make a project bag with that. But thank you, Donna. I love this so much. And I cannot wait to stitch that up. All right, let's see. What do I want to talk about next? I want to talk about the sow that's going on right now. I'm allowing myself only to cast on for this sow, but I'm really determined to work on all of my other projects. This is what everybody is showing you, hung for the holidays, or it's in another Blackbird book that's been discontinued. It's this beautiful cardinal. Nancy Turner of Victorian Motto has dyed up these beautiful threads for it. And I know you guys have all seen this over and over. But I have only stitched a little bit. I've started my bird. This is the only color that I'm changing out. Mine is stitched on Lakeside Linen's Vintage Pear. It is a green color. And it's 36 count, which is a little bit smaller than what the pattern calls for. And I am using, instead, I'm using Cherry Cobbler. I've changed out the red. I just wanted a little bit of variegation in it, rather than being a solid color. But there is so much thread in this that I think there's going to be plenty to do. The other thing I'd like to do in this book is this Christmas garden. I might use some of those threads in that. It's getting really dark outside. I sewed up a project bag for this, and I put some extras, not this one. I made another one. Hold on a second. I made this black one. The beautiful cardinals with this really pretty white music with holly in it. But I kept this one because I noticed if you have ever played an instrument or you know how to read music, it's backwards because I put the wrong side up. So I kept this one for me, and I sold the other one on Instagram. I don't plan to go into the bag making business, but I do like to make bags for my projects, and if I have extra fabric, I'm going to go ahead and make some and put them up on Instagram. So this is the other fabric that I have. These beautiful cardinals, because I could not decide which one I wanted. Now I have two bags. I put the cardinals on both sides with this. But I found the other day some Waverly fabric that I think I want to do. I'm going to sew up some more tomorrow, and I'm going to put this gold trim up here on the top where the zipper is. I think that looks prettier. So I plan on putting maybe 4 or 5 of those up on Instagram this weekend. If you want to grab one, send me an Instagram message when you see them go up. I have somebody has already ordered one from me. So that is the cardinal, 'tis the season stitch along. What else do I want to show you? The last thing I think I want to talk about is I did a little bit of research. Hold on just a minute. Let me get myself together. Forgot to show you this. I also got this adorable needle minder. It's Alice in Wonderland. It's made by Mad for Minders. Here's their card right here. And I actually got this to remind me that I still have 3 more socks to design for the Wonderland Sock Club before the year is out. So that's Mad for Minders. I saw that on Luminous Fibers. She likes those, so thank you, Misty. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is a book called Dead Wake by Eric Larsen. You guys know how I like him so much. And this book is the last crossing of the Lusitania. I thought I knew the Lusitania story until I started reading this book. it was very engrossing for me. It was a hard read in some instance because you know the ship is going to sink. But basically what happened is the World War I has been going on for 10 months. I'll just put this up here. I'll hide behind it. I'm really low energy right now. The war has been going on for 10 months. The United States is not involved in it yet. Germany has traditionally in warfare, merchant ships were left alone. Ships that were carrying merchandise or people were left alone. And traditionally or historically what would happen is prior to the Lusitania crossing, when ships would get into the English Channel, the Royal Navy would come escort them in. But the Lusitania was one of the fastest passenger ships that had come out, or maybe next to fastest. And the war was going on, and they fully expected to get across and have the Royal Army escort them in. But the day the Lusitania left the harbor in New York, the Germans put a notice in all the newspapers, in the New York Times, saying that Americans should fully be aware that they would fire on merchant ships, that they considered anything in those waters fair game. And several people canceled and decided not to go on that ship. Several people laughed about it or said, oh, the British Army will protect us. I mean, the British Navy will protect us. And the captain of the Lusitania knew that the Lusitania was the fastest ship, and he fully felt that they could outrun any ship or any submarine that was firing on them. So they left, and unfortunately what happened was, well, the book has two characters like Eric Larsen does. He usually pits a good person against a bad person. And the German captain of the submarine is telling his story along with the captain of the Lusitania. And the Germans received orders to shoot down anything, and they lost communication once they went under the sea, and they had like a head count of how many ships that they could shoot down. About the same time, the British Navy issued an order, what came from higher up, that the Royal Navy would not help anybody who had been torpedoed. It was too dangerous. So when the Lusitania was 10 miles off the coast of Ireland, it was torpedoed and it went down. The people that came to the rescue were the Irish people in their fishermen boats and whatever they could find. And unfortunately, I think by the time they got there, it was too late for most of them. There were few survivors. There were famous people on this ship. Well, everybody is famous, right, in our own right. But it tells the story of a lot of the passengers on this ship. It's very interesting. I thought I probably was going to have problems getting through it, but I didn't. It was told so well, and it was interesting. So Dead weight. It happened like 1918, let's see, 1915, on May 1st, 1915. Okay, that leads me into what I want to talk about last, since we were talking about Ireland. I was doing a little bit of research on just linen, and I found out that Zweigart names their linen after cities in the UK. And Zweigart is a German linen. Their 18 count is Cork. Their 25 count is Dublin. Their 28 count is Cashel. Their 32 count is Belfast. Their 35 or 36 count is Edinburgh. Their 40 count is Newcastle. And their 55 count is Kingston. So, if you are ever wondering what those names are, it coincides with their count, I believe. But they're cities in the UK. Belfast, I usually use 32 or 36, so it's usually Belfast or Edinburgh. And Belfast is soft and very consistent weave with a nice body to it. I like to use Belfast. It's much softer than the Witchell linens, and it's closer to Lugana or Jovelin, but not as heavy. So Lakeside linens and Picture This Plus all use Zweigart fabric. So that's why it's so often we'll say Edinburgh linen or Belfast linen. Now you know. All right, so the next thing I did research on, I wanted to learn a little bit more about the Duchess Hoops, because Melanie sent me this one. But not only Melanie, Liz of Country Stitchers, hi Liz, she had some Duchess hoops that she didn't use. So she sent me these two sizes. So now I have all three of these. And I cannot tell you how thrilled I am about this. Let me put this behind it. Oops. So I did a little bit of research because I absolutely love holding these in my hand as opposed to Q-snaps. And I found out the reason I'm doing this is because about the time of this is when these came out. And actually a little bit earlier, in 1905, the Gibbs Manufacturing Company out of Canton, Ohio, was once the largest maker of embroidery hoops in the world. Their most popular style was the Duchess. They also made another one called the Princess, and it has like a metal thing right here. But I think these are popular with cross stitchers because there's nothing for your thread to get caught on. They're built to last, and they're built well. And if this is 1905, they're built well. They're not adjustable like modern hoops. They don't need to be. Gibbs called them automatically adjustable. One of the most important features of the Duchess hoops is the felt cushion in the band on the inner rim. And the one Liz sent me is in perfect condition. It's like it's never been used. It fits down there in a groove. And this gives the required tension to hold it tightly stretched. It says light or heavy fabrics, but I think that mostly people were embroidering back then. And it doesn't slip. There are no screws or other contrivances to catch the thread on. So the Gibbs Manufacturing Company made 8 sizes of the Duchess hoop, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12. And then they made an oval hoop that came in 3 sizes, 3 by 6, 4.5 by 9, 6 by 12. And I thought this was interesting. The smaller size was for small embroidery, or it was especially desirable inside ladies' hosiery or initials on lingerie and household linens. The larger oval size was used for drawn work and large embroidery like pillowcases. I think cross stitchers like to use the oval on the alphabet on samplers. Get this, the middle size retailed for 10 cents. Okay, so one of my favorite, you guys know that I really like history. I'm really drawn to reproduction samplers, and I want to start stitching those. That's what made me want to cross stitch years and years and years ago, even when I was in college. But I think that being a needlewoman, when I stitch using something like this, I feel connected to all the generations of women that went before me that embroidered or cross-stitched these beautiful samplers. Now, I don't know what they used before 1900. I don't know what all the samplers I want to stitch on, what they used. I don't know if they held them in hand or they had another kind of embroidery hoop. If you know that, please let me know. I'd like to know that. So that's why I am so thrilled and how much I love the FlossTube community. Now, Liz has sent me these two. She's bartered with me. She's mailed me some fabric, and I'm going to make her a couple project bags. And I will just throw this out there. I'm game for that. I really like this bartering. If you have fabric you want to send me and you have something I want, I will tell you I'm looking for reproduction sampler patterns or any Plum Street historical stuff. I love historical stuff. Let me know. Well, I think I need to stop gabbing. This has gone on much longer than I thought, but it's been a whole month. And I really do appreciate you guys stopping by. I had shout outs, but I'm out of time. So think about subscribing. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, there are plenty of other things out there that you can enjoy. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. Love you all. Bye.